Karl Rove says, why are we worried about anything? Because we're not going to be around in 2080 anyway. Why are we worried about climate change? Why are we worried about what's happening to the planet? Because we'll all be dead by 2080. Did you see that story?
I did. And you know what? That perfectly encapsulates the entire Republican mindset. Why do I care? It doesn't affect me. They're incapable of caring about any other human being, even their own children and grandchildren. It's all about me. What can I do for me? How is this going to benefit me personally? And if it doesn't, then to hell with it. Karl Rove and Ted Cruz, they don't care that all of our top national security advisors are telling us climate change is happening in the Middle East and it's making things a lot worse and a lot more violent, and it's going to come over here very soon. Not in 5 years, maybe not even in 1 year, sooner than that, if we don't start doing something, if we don't make a climate fund to help these people who've lost their ways of life.
Yeah, okay. But I come back to this point. It's not just politics with some of these guys. With a Ted Cruz, understand this is part of this is part of what he's grown up learning. As a Dominionist, he doesn't really care. Everything is preordained. It's going to happen anyway. Karl Rove with his crazy talk, the guy's, clearly, Rove has no religion. Rove is, almost openly admitted. I think he said at one time he might be Episcopalian. No, but he's not talking from a religious standpoint. He's talking about the me generation standpoint. We're going to use everything up anyway. Baby boomers, in Karl Rove's mind, and he's one of them, are going to use everything up anyway. There's not going to be anything left for millennials or Xers. It's not even going to be around. And you know what? It's really not just the fault of the baby boomers, because the damn millennials aren't showing up to vote. Now, that's not me making that up. That is, the numbers are very clear. They aren't showing up to vote. So when they lose their jobs, when the planet melts, when there's such disparity in wealth that you can't even recognize as a democracy, when the police forces are going so crazy that you're reading about a police murder shooting almost every day, where police have committed murder every day, when those things start happening, and the friggin' millennials don't have enough sense to go to the polls, you know what? Maybe he's right. Maybe we are out of here by 2080.
The thing about the millennials and the voting is the fact that they've grown up under, kind of different times. I mean, they came of age during the 9/11, during the Iraq War lies. They see all that. And so they do have this mentality of, what's the point of voting? All these politicians are the same. And that's, a lot of Democrats in general have that, regardless of age. But that's something that they need to understand, as we do. There is a politician running for president right now who absolutely breaks the mold. He is not the same old, they're all liars, they're all crooks. No, Bernie Sanders is the person to change that old trope. He is out there, and the millennials love him, by the way.
Yeah, they do.
The question is, are they going to show up and vote?
That's positive. If they show up to vote, Bernie can win. Now,
yes.
that's the simple. If they show up to vote, Bernie can win. If they don't show up to vote, I really do believe Karl Rove might be right. They won't even be here in 2080, because we will have human species were once described as locusts. That's the best description I can give. And what I mean by that is, when they show up at a particular venue, they consume everything there. They eat it, they destroy it, they bury it, they burn it up. They're like locusts. And we're a species of nothing less than locusts. And Karl Rove understands that when he said, we're not even going to be here in 28, buddy. The only thing that changes that is millennials getting into this game. And if they don't, baby, it's over.
Well,
I believe he's right.
It is so amazing that they don't understand right now that they do hold the power to permanently change American politics. They're going to be the largest voting bloc this next year.
Why don't they get it, Farron? You are one. I mean, you are a millennial. Why don't they get it?
Because they're not, I don't want to say that they're not paying attention to the news, because they are more so than ever, but they're not paying attention to what's happening really. They do tune into the news, but the news is so skewed and biased and wrong that you can't trust the news. They get little snippets from social media here and there, but mostly they ignore those things. So they do have greater access to news. They're just not utilizing it in the way they should. And they also, they do have this mentality of, you know what, it's just the one vote. What does one vote matter?
I'm not going to make any difference.